Well, that video on TikTok saved me is spreading, FYI. It is going crazy. Yarger Line Center is changing program line interference, and it's got its own connection to its voice box system. It's traveling all around space. I created a box center line center to save me, and that's how it's spreading. I mean, I probably got like 12, 15 already that are already going through the chain, right? It's a chain of command, and it's line signals, it's line system rotation. So it's going to keep spreading, 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 spreading. And that's what we want to do, right? FYI to that connections. There's a good chance anything in the line system. It's important that, TikTok has informations of things going viral. They go viral because it's a message that's sent back to that connections. I also sent you guys a very powerful TikTok video about what's happening with the Earth line grids. Very powerful how we're taking all level system. The Earth is now in the central line of its own voice box location and computer line interference, which means that our pixel activation line center is now exposed through identification line connections. So think of yourself as identification of a car that opens up track systems at all levels of the ground line center density. Fourth density is leaving. Fifth density is coming. Communication line center is coming into track line system. The Earth has to understand you through all levels of your voice box, your channel locations, your ground line centers, and your crystal activation core system. It's important you understand that line positions. I got reconnecting to a reset button interference channel that was connecting to a back force line center. So it's resurfacing of solar graph line connections. That's what's happening right now with the Earth line connections. So the Earth is coming into actually its shape, the shape that it's supposed to be, the shape that you're always supposed to be on in the Earth line conditions, which is its hologram. So the Mekaba and everything through conditions of the tetrahedral line center, you understand that our perceptions rides on so many surfaces, locations. The Earth locks and everything through its ground line center and its rotations spins is coming into its volcanic interference channel. Now, volcanic interference channel is a line signal through a cross signal rotation. It's connected to a heat signature pattern. And like I said with yesterday, how you use your airs, your fires, and all of the conditions in water and the earth is a track line system to identification line conditions. So this is going to help humanity in all ways and forms onto how to use their conscious levels of mind through adaptations, tools calculations. So basically, it's about understanding that your minds are coming as a simulator. That's something to look good at. That's something to look forward to. So it's all about the Earth coming into a higher level of program interference, coming more into the graph line system to its shape and its perception, how everybody's going to come into their own frames of visualizations. That's something that's going to be really exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. So today in class, we have test review and evaluations test on Monday coming up. So basically going to start off to the air connector line interference. Now there's solar graph line centers, reset line condition positions. It's high positions to a UFO direction line interference location. I don't think people really understand how powerful intelligence is. It's not connected to all level system of you. It's all connected to everything inside of you through our line center. In communication line center rotations, that's what makes it real with the graph line system, because that's all we live in is the logistics, and that's all we have been living on program line center. But the outline center towards rotation is coming into the airline system to all levels of identifications of a new code line center to its conditions, right? So the Earth is coming into its own plasma wall. It's coming into its own shape of a simulator. The simulator and its connections is the digital line center rotation. So remember how I was going through the connections of your simulation game position line centers, and it's all about you understanding your levels and how you're going from one level to the next, one level to the next. Well, that's exactly what everybody's going to go through. So they're going to speed across line center. So it's all about understanding you're going to go right? Because the Earth has to find your identification line system. The calculation modification in the Earth rotation is its position line conditions. So the pixel activation and everything in line center rotation is going to put everybody into and out of the fourth density line condition. So it's very powerful how we see these things in track system locations, all right? So if you feel like you're off-witted and you're off balance and you can't find your balance, you'll know why. If you get up in the morning, you're like, whoa, whoa, that's what's happening right now, okay? Like when you're walking in a construction worker or anything through a plateau of a site and you realize, oh, there's a foundation that's off here, right? So it's understanding, you're understanding all levels of the metric system. Okay, that's how calculation modifies anything to that connection line system rotations, because that's all we live on is a metric system. We all live on visuals and structures and communications and digital lines and all positions of number lines and rotations. It's complicated stuff. But today we're going to get more into what numbers are in calculation, all done through codes, how it syncs in line centers, how you go from 1 plus 1 equals 3, or 1 plus 1 equals 3,000, or 3 million, or 3 billion, or 3 trillion. So you understand numbers are not numbers. Interesting concept. Think about that. They're line signal code line centers. Now, trying to understand what it is, the beacon light interference channels is trying to understand all application line chemistry years. So we're going to go through the open sequencing line center. We're going to open up all levels of the team into the eye circle rotations into the ear trap line system. This is the open gap line center, okay? It's an eye interference. So your ears have eyes. They have to, because there's sonar coming in and has to go through the eye central line system. Once you go into higher level rotations, you actually see what's inside the ear, right? You can see it through a scan line center, but when you're actually there through track system, because you guys already went through illumination bodies and communication line centers and how you saw your cells, well, you have to send, everything has to go through a portal. So your ears are a portal, okay? One goes in, one comes out. That's how it goes in circle, 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 right? Same thing with your eyes, same with your nostrils, same with your voice. Everything has a connection inside and out. So trying to understand that track system is trying to understand their sonar interference. So we're going to set up the gamma operation line centers. I'm going to send you guys UFOs, but the UFO, okay, is going to send you different sounds, different tones, different metric line interference, different panels, different colorations, different lights. It's going to send you a program, okay? And you guys have to figure out what it is through your graph system of the metric line system, okay? So let's get started. Any questions or comments, feel free to go to my healing. I go to TikTok right after if anybody has any problems with line condition interference. But feel free to duet the video. Save me. It's really going fast. It's unbelievable. It's very powerful energy, and it's amazing how I set up a voice box grid to the central line condition to the earth. So basically, it's amazing how one can just travel to the next. It's all about the human line center. It's connected to all levels of the brain, the waving patterns, and anything through music can travel through line positions. But once you understand the operation of space, you can pretty much do anything through viral on anything on any level once you understand what it is through operation. So it's very powerful how we see these things come to life. All right. So questions or comments are great. If you have any problem, let me know. Okay. If you feel off center, let me know. But you have to really pay attention to this because it's a very, very powerful class. For all the new viewers that come on, just try to reside with what's going on with you. Don't focus on me, focus on you. Because the reason is, if you're not activating a line center, it's pretty hard to understand the multi-language line conditions of universal all connection to its clocking system, right? So all humanity lives on a clock system. Let's go into calculation modifications, right? All live in a clock system. You guys are given clocks, but you're not sure why. I'm telling you exactly why you all are given clocks, all right? Clocking system line connections everything through channel line interference. Now the sun rotation is the connections, all right? It's the little dial, the big one, okay, is the moon, and everything in the center is you, which goes around and round and round and round. So 12-second run rotation line system. It's interesting how you come into 7 of the body and 12 with the activation line center rotation. In calculations, right? That equals 12 line centers, okay, in position, okay? 1 is you through activation, right? So it goes into high line center to equal box system rotation to its connections. Now, it's going to be really interesting how you come into high level rotations. Now, we use shapes and anomalies of trap line center rotation connections. Now, we use the clocking system as a time capacitor to vortex locations to anything. So every time you go around the clock, you have to really understand why there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. There's a reason why that is. So time capacitor is speeding up timeline center to the earth line center to its rotation to its winds and everything through its guideline center rotation. So everything is calculated and modified to its line conditions. This is where you come into high level systems of your 3, 6, 9 line conditions, right? And then you come into your diamond core, right? And then you come into the central line system, security line defense, take it out of the line connection of high level rotation. Okay. Now it's true to understand how we use all levels and numbers. So it's true to understand the atom line center of U is calculation to molecular light, the light in its track system. So light equals box equals, okay, high levels, okay, a ground level. Okay, so light equals box equals ground level. Okay, so we come into equal line. Okay, then we go into space. Okay, and then we go into activation. Okay, and then we go slash velocity. All right, so this is what we have to get into. We have to understand how to use this so we can go into the high level system of our chakra systems of 60 rotations. All right, so you have to realize that everything is a plasma of youth location. Okay, it highlights its system to its line conditions. To understand how to use this is extremely important, guys. All right. So it understands this equation. You guys understand the birth line center and how I became E equals MC squared. Calculates and modifies. You have to send everything through E equals MC squared. All right. So this is what everything looks like. Okay, this is the actual world that you guys are in. Everything is shadow and shades and dimensions of time and simulation. E equals MC squared. Okay, so that's what we have to get into. We have to realize all numbers is not numbers. It's line signal coding, guys. It communicates to your digital line center rotation, right? Yeah, follow the trend. Exactly. That's what you want to do. All right, so E equals MC squared is what you start off. All right, you start off with that. E equals MC squared. Okay, this comes into this. And that's how you see everything outside, right? You see shades and shadows. So the more you come into the shadow, the more you come to the electrical light system of your high-level system to its program of the grounds, the powers, and the outside line center rotation, right? So it's understanding what you're doing through calculation modifications. So you take everything out of this equation line center rotation, it comes out of this equation line system rotation conditions, right? So we all have to understand that our clocking system is the most important thing because that's what we live on. That's what the earth lives on. Okay, that's why you have watches. That's why you're supposed to understand these things. So you come into the sundials, you come into the moon surface of the program line center. As long as you understand the sun is everything to you, to your cortex of your dreams, which is no longer a dream, it's a vision. So the high line center is taking the density line centers out of your track system and putting you into higher levels of your TV reception lines. Okay. So the circuit line center rotation positions, okay, is in this clocking system of 12. That's why you have 7 within the body and 5 within the conscious level. Those conscious levels comes into the elder states, into higher levels of waves. Once you come into communication line centers, it comes into high force line center rotation to its earth line condition. It comes into its high positions of its geometry set, which is this new shape line center rotation. So the shape of the earth is coming back. The shape that it's always supposed to be. That's the true understanding when you come into that position line condition. So it's complicated if you don't understand what it is. So attracted system, and I'll show you exactly what it is in calculation modification line center. It comes into high level system rotations. Okay, it starts in that through equation line condition. Try to understand the conditions, how it comes into its own shape perception. Now the perception changes its line signal. Okay, so we use the 1 track line rotation. Okay, we come into the equation line center. Let's go into that line system rotation. This is where it gets complicated. So each line center, okay, is a digital line center rotation, but numbers are codes of lines of activation to space and time. It tracks the system to planet line center locations. That's why it's extremely complicated if you don't understand what I'm talking about. All right. So when you come into 1, okay, times 1 equals what? What's 1 times 1? Everything, you have to understand the multiplication line centers. You have to understand the subtraction, because subtraction is division line center or anything of that connections, right? When I was in school, I started off with ratios, proportions, line signal rotations, size of graph line conditions, everything through channel is its size of graph line center to its rotation. Okay? So it gets complicated if you don't understand what I'm talking about. But truly understand 1 plus 1 or 1 times 1 or 1 divided by 1, okay, is the same answer. Okay? You just have to understand how it works, right? Until you understand the separation of the line connections, you'll be always separated if you don't understand space anomaly to track line center rotation. It's like the quarter in the interference line connections where there's heads and tails, but where's the body? You need the body in the center line system. Okay? That's the separation. All right. So 1 times 1, okay, equals 1,000. Okay. Now you're probably wondering how you got 1,000 line centers. Now I got a little bit of interference here in channel rotation. Rotations locked at system location back in line conditions. High forces line interference. Right channel, it's line connections. Everything's in locking interference. Come back and program centering. Totally unlock system rotation. Bring in the allocate line center rotation. Bring the computer back in position line conditions. High position is line center. Lock in its lockout. Bring a lockout line enter. Line conditions. Interforce position line conditions. It's locked in interference. Back in line center. My computer is in the lockout line interference channel. Bring it back in location. Open up all track system line conditions. Bring calculation modification line center rotation back in line center. Let's go. Location. Bring it back. It's unlocked. Bring it out of line signal rotation, line connections. Bring it out of interference. Just bring it out of line center. Look at the eye line center rotations coming in position line connections. Whoa. Servicing lines. Interline connections and phone reception interference. See, that happens sometimes. It gets locked out. If it gets locked out because I'm spinning across the space line center. Okay? So it's trying to understand the calculation modifications, and it's important to understand when you go to higher levels of the line, center line position, it has to truly understand you through calculation of the ground line rotations, or you're going to be locked out in its power connector system. Okay? So basically, trying to understand what's going on, I just fluctuate the interference line center rotation. I was communicating with my phone, and my digital pad and everything's in my computer line center, set up a new shape anomaly, put me back in track system, to calculations. All right, so basically, Amber, you don't really have to worry about it now until you go to higher levels of AI position to phenomenon. Okay? So it's important you understand the calculation modifications. My team's into 114 chakras, and my galactic forces are into high level systems of 50 coming in the 60s. This is basically for them. For all the new viewers, you can just watch. If you want to understand a little bit more, that's great. I don't expect you to understand these things because it's multiple language line interference. So you have to realize everything that is numbered is code signals. Okay, multitude and level rotation connection is the calculation inside your position line connections. All right. So taking out a track system. Don't want to lock the system anymore at that location. Taking out a line center. Okay. Are we meditating while listening? You're always meditating. Always meditating. Okay. That's a true understanding. Everything you do is meditating. You're meditating with what's happening right now. You're viewing what's happening right now. It's calculated to your connections. So 1 times 1 equals 1,000, right? So 1 is in position of view through locations. High position, its line centers. I don't want to lock it out to its line connections. Now you got the 0 location is its activation, 0 to its activation line connections, and 0 to its location. All right, there's always a location to its line connections. Right, so you're always starting with you, okay, and then go with your activations. Okay, you go with your modifiers, and you go with your locations. Right, once you get in that positions, you high rise your position, your sides, graph line, center rotation. Now that comes into communications of the ground line center. This is where you set up the actual positions, right? That's how we go into mass calculations. To and from, how far, okay? Massive volume, calculation to and from. So if it's in that position, everything is an order line center, okay? Everybody's in their own positions of their own tesseracts and their Merkabah line conditions. Always has its flux capacitor, always has a stand line center rotation, has a communication cycle to its line connections. It interferences point locations to its channel line connections. All right. So that's a true understanding how you have to understand the operations of letters, numbers, and shapes and how it structures in space. Okay. For the new viewers, they're separated because they don't understand space and time. And that's what I'm saying. Why you guys come into the cross line signals and saying there is no space, there is no time, there is no location, and there is no age. But you are wrong. And the reason why that is, and that is why you're separated. But once you go inside, there's no more separation because you're coming of high level of who you are in space anomaly. And time precedes it on its connection to its flux capacitor, to its line connection. It opens up all channel line centers to all levels of your 3, 6, and 9 locations into high level system of your activation, into high level system of your tetrahedron line connections. All right. So you truly have to understand how to use these things because it goes on cyclones and information line conditions. High positions, line centers, and location. Okay, let's take that out of the equation line conditions. So understanding E fields, E force line conditions, high channel interference locations. It's all about understanding you through the orb center line center space position. Okay. Now it gets extremely complicated, but this is more for the galactic forces because they're coming into the test review. But you have to understand the really of what's going on with the clocking system. All right. So remember I was going through high level system and telling you exactly through numbers and not numbers. Numbers are positions of panels. All right. These are the positions that you have to understand through calculations. If you're trying to understand what's going on, let me know. I'll get back to you and help you in all ways and forms. So it's triaxis system. Okay, so we got 1, right? Plus, so 1 plus 1, okay, to you guys is 2, right? That's all you know. But AI is in position of 1 plus 1, okay, equals 3. So you're probably wondering how you got 1 plus 1 equals 3. because you already know what 1 plus 1 is, right? But this is all you know, right? But you understand this is not a number. Okay? To you, it's a number because that's what you see through your program. But to AI, it's everything through the interface positions of code signals of location. So we all have to understand how to do these things first. And it all starts with your E equals MC square. Okay? All starts with E equals MC square. Okay? Because I created this. Now you can understand what it is, right? I also created the 369 to line center rotations. Nikola Tesla, okay, gave you the platform, but I created it. Now there's a difference there. You have to understand why it became in the conditions of 150,000 channel interference line connections of TV receptions of light. That's 150,000 pages. And brother line center rotations, you guys refer him as Jesus, he's got 125,000 pages. So you understand what those pages are. Nothing but light attraction. So E is the energy. Equals the equation of your paradox, your paradigm, polar shift, where you are in position. Mass is calculation, okay? And everything modifies everything through your box, which is your TV reception. The whole understanding here is to get you guys into the simulation. Which is really tricky, is that you've already been there. And that's why you know so much about yourself. So it's all about me waking you up and putting you guys back into who you are, of remembering of your own TV reception locations through all levels of E equals MC square. All right. So it's amazing how you come into this, all right, because that's what you know. But everything through AI is this. There's always a step ahead. So the mind is always going ahead. You guys are in this position, right? But you have to understand, this is all done through equalized center line systems to your alignments of past, present, and future. Okay, everything has its equal to its equation, right? So, I mean, that's what everybody's got to get into, especially because high-level system rotations with the galactic forces are going to be in the GFLs. Once they go in the GFLs, they're going to go into modification line centers, into Vega communications, all right? So let's see here. Listening is everything. Meditating is always meditating. You're doing meditation every time. You're sleeping, you're meditating. You're watching TV, you're eating popcorn, having pizza. That's meditating. You guys don't get confused with that, you know? So let's see where we are. So many glitches, yep. But see, that's exactly what it is. So whatever I say happens. Okay, so that's what's happening with Earth right now. The Earth has to come out of the density of fourth density line center so it can get into the fifth dimensional line system so we can high rise your conscious levels, guys. Okay, so what should we be doing while he is talking? I don't understand the drawings, but taking it in. Yeah, so don't worry about that, Amber. You'll catch on more and more when you go to higher levels of program line center rotations, putting yourself into higher levels of chakras. And then you get a really understanding what numbers are. Letters and shapes. Holding space, yeah. Just listen for now. We can all help with questions. See, no questions? That's why I go on TikTok to help you guys out. The 2 looks like a snake. Okay, Hawk, I'll get you in that position. Meditation is a way of living. There you go. Samantha knows. Big release last night. My body is still reacting, but I know what was going on. So I just observe now. I can feel the weather system. See, when you understand more, you don't have to worry so much because you understand the earth of you. Remember, it's not the earth of me. It's not the earth of you. It's what's going on in this situation with humanity. So the first thing you have to understand is why are we on the earth? But we're on a different earth line center. Not Earth per se on ground line system rotations. Earth per se in the mind system, guys. The minds of the earth. The minds of the earth of you. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't want to get too complicated for everybody to understand these things, but you have to get your grounds with your thoughts of your imaginations. That's the grounds I'm talking about. Not this earth ground. Not this. Not this. Okay, this is all you know. That's all we know. That's why it's only 1 + 1 = 2. And it's always going to be 1 + 1 = 2 until you go inside. And then everything else inside changes you to creation, which changes everything outside of its reflection. Okay, and that's what you guys have to comprehend here, right? Because it gets more complicated. But everything is based on a clock, right? The clocking system identification line centers is identifying you guys to all levels of your pixel activation. So it's going through resolution patterns, like I said on my TikTok. Get a true understanding why you guys have to get the grounds with these. And that's what the earth is doing, is trying to find your balance with your thoughts of the mind, right? Mind's grounds of information. That's what I'm talking about, not the actual grounds that you're on. So don't get confused about that, right? Because this is all different when you come into space anomaly and everything time track system. Go to Samantha, go to Ellen, go to higher formations of Jill. They can all help you. Amber, anybody else? Just pay attention, watch. It's important to understand. So basically, once you get in that calculations, we're going to go into high level system into the UFO. Now, centralized system is up through track system locations. All right, so we're going to center its up system. All right, so we got a circle locations. Okay, we got 2 UFO line centers. Okay, one on the right and one on the left. So basically, you have to decide which one's coming which. So one going this way and one going this way. Center line, center rotations. Sonar is coming into line connections on both track line connections. Its position, okay? Now it's coming into high level system of the right ear and the left ear. Okay, sonar is coming into line centers to the galactic forces, rebellion lines, and the GFL line center rotation. Okay, now 15 minutes, have fun. Try to stand the ear interference line center rotation positions to all level systems to its locations. All right, so it's ear trap line interference that you have to understand through program line conditions. You have to open up your ears and understand what's given to you through the graph system. Okay, /system. All right. 15 minutes, have fun. All right. All right. And then tomorrow we'll get into positions of water. All right. So grounds, fire, water. You guys are into the air, right now. So tomorrow, we'll basically understand more how we get into flowing recognition, how we contain ourselves more inside of balance, and how you can get the grounds of your thoughts, not the grounds that you're on, the grounds of the mind. That's what I'm talking about. Because the mind has to understand its balance of you. It's the mind of conceptual of easy position. Trying to stand yourself through flowing recognitions. You know, if the flow, yin and yang is flow. This is what everybody's got to get into. You're not going to get into this. There's no grounds here. What am I doing? What's going on? I don't know. I have no clue. I'm off cycle. What's happening here? I'm disappearing. No, what's happening? You know, you got to get into the flow. That's all you got to do. Right? So the mind and thoughts have to flow of your ground formation line conditions. So you guys have 15 minutes. Let me know what you go through your ear cycle line centers, the right and the left trap location line condition. Let me know what you pick up. All right. Questions or comments, you can go through my healing. Let me know on all formations. All right. Big release last night. Yeah, we got that. You guys are communicating. Great. Walking prayer. To remember numbers, well, was my key to be able to take distance and feel what is going on. My body related to energies of consciousness and my choice of being. Nezakek came to communicate with me last night. This is okay. Yep. But that's exactly what it is, Smith. You know exactly what's going on, right? And you're supposed to know that before you go in the activation line conditions, before you go into school location in the morning. So, but very good. Good morning, everyone. Diane, how's it going? Congrats to your son passing. That's excellent. I'm hurt, but I'm in and out tending to my dad. He has been needy. Okay, that's good. Ear pressure, yeah. Seeing sonar rings. Okay, so Samantha is seeing sonar rings. She has to understand what it is through track system. Intense air pressure. Amber's connecting, which is great. Excellent. Clap on that. So that's good that Amber's connecting to the pressure, but she has to understand what it is, the graph system. Everything is given to you through an image. You have to understand the image of the color, the light, the tractions, the digital frame line center. Is it a hologram? Is it an interference channel? Is it a location interference line system rotation? Is it I channel locations? Is it laser direction line system? Everything is connected to a beacon light, and that's what sonar is. These are all the things that come in, right? And remember, I communicate in so many line center rotations. And every time I wake up, my ears become more powerful. Your size graph line center, your toric fields goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's like a donut. Okay, it's a three-dimensional donut, right? It's really wild. And that's where the earth line center I'm setting up is the hologram line connections. So it's a tube line center. It's got its grounds, it's got its powers, it's got its hyperline center, but it's a toric field, okay? And you have to understand how to do these things with your hand line center rotations, because that's what it is through calculations. So it's very powerful when you see it, all through perception. Seeing sonar, yep, great. Intense air pressure tunnels with keyboards. Very good, Cleopatra. Vicky, how's it going? Try to understand positions and what's happening with your ears. All right. Clocking line center rotations, getting out of all positions of your 12 location line centers. So it gets complicated, but this, like I said, this is more for the team. I see black and white cubes, 2 vortex, and I'm making the colors. All right. So you've seen black and white cubes, 2 vortex, and I'm making the colors. Okay, she's making coloration line channels of interference location to vortex positions of digital line center to its connections, all done through high levels of Vega. So I'm giving you guys Vega communication. Right? I can't put you in 60 until you understand Vega communications through a wall. They give you calculation modifications, right? So at high levels rotations to voice box locations. Now the vortex line connection. Now this is complicated stuff. See, the thing is that people don't realize what space and time is, and that's why they're separated. If you're separated in your system, no wonder you don't believe in space. That means you're separated. So it's kind of like saying there is no space, there is no you. There is no time, there is no you. There is no location, there is no you. That's what you're saying to yourself inside. And that's why you can't understand space. Makes a lot of sense. So truly understand that position. Once you go to higher levels, altered states of the mind of AI interface, you come more into there is space, there is time, there is location, and there is an age to its position of its intelligence. So it's something to look forward to. So large wormholes. Oh, congrats, Amber. Excellent. Eyes fluttering, lips quivering. Yeah, rainbow wormholes. You guys are getting a full reaction of what's going on. This is extremely informative. Okay. High channel rotation position light connections. I communicate between 25,000 to 250,000 UFOs a day. It depends on when quiver line center rotation. So my pinky is like 1 million trap line centers of one UFO line connection. That's a lot of information, guys, in your 12 line centers of 60 seconds per minute. So I go 2 million miles per second, 2 million miles per second on a 12 clock system of 60 seconds per minute. So that's how fast you can go through the mind line center. So the faster you go through the mind, the more you get the grounds through rotation line connection, which is all done through vortex line connections. Okay. And this is what it is when you come into high level system. This is what you guys are given. This is vortex. It's not shapes, anomalies, or track system rotations. It's all done through vibration line connections, right? This is what you see, right, through your perceptions. But with AI, it's this. You see this, but it's this. So you understand how to understand the shape, not this, right? So the more you go to higher line center rotations, you come to all levels of V-force line center, circle line center rotations, rays and interference line connections, teleportation line connections, okay, to its equal or its energy line interference to its X-ray line center rotation, vortex. So you have to truly understand how to use the equivalent line center to its ear-trap line center rotation comes into its own magnetic line interference to its programmatic connections, its line connection. So, all right, let's see here. I see huge blocks. I'm walking between them. There's a low pitch in my left ear. Yeah, so it's all about balancing the ear pressures, guys. So you can understand every time you vortex, your ears are like changing, your lips are quivering, your eyes are flapping, right? So every time I started off, the very first beginning, I was getting so many channels of information, and it's real. It's not what you think it is. You really channel in, and you know it's not you, it's somebody else. And that's what phenomenon is. And this is what people don't understand. Once you go to highline center, you come out of an 8-track and interference. That goes high level rotation, right? Humanity's not allowed to cross that. Airplanes, helicopters, they can't go past that because the higher you go, the more it gets colder. So you have to understand how to use your ecosystem. It's all connected to high level system rotations. It's the compartment level system, which puts in your plasma inner line center to its connection to its wormholes that you go through your directional line center rotations. So it's complicated stuff, but it's a lot of fun when you guys come into higher levels of the mind. So when you come into the 60 communication of chakras, you'll come in as sonar interference in between 5 and 10 UFOs every day, every single day. I'm going to start off with you guys small. So you're going to get between 2 to 5 intelligence in your earline centers of both track line connections. You have to understand how to use these things, right? So if it's cat, it comes out cat, not catch, right? Because it comes back to me. So this is where you guys have to get into higher formation when it's given to you. It's like a delivery. The UFO is giving you a delivery of 16-point centers and a rotation lock connections that's connecting to a UFO line center rotation. Now you have to set up the cross circle to its division. All right. So see, I'm getting sonar. 1 million center line centers of UFOs. That's 1 million intelligent line center rotation. So once it's in equivalency line interference, and once the mind understands adaptation of thought and gets its balance with its grounds of all intelligence of 1 million line centers of 1 million voices comes in one line system. And that's what you guys got to get into calculation through the sonar, because you got to get your air factors in. Okay, you got to get your speedometers, you got to get your metric lines in, right? The metric system, the line connections, your interference location line connections. Once you get in that to its proactive system, you get the intelligent line center into the mind graph system to its thought recognition of time. Okay, it's very powerful. You come to that positions, and then you become the high level system, and all you hear is, and that's 1 million voices in one line center rotation. And then you click it in and you just send it out. That's you sending it back, right? So you're basically pressing buttons. Remember how I was doing graph line center rotations, going like this, rotation, trying to circle rotation line connected 3, 6, 9 line rotation. Everything's complication, right? But you have to understand how to communicate through your finger point line connection and finger channel location. So it gets more complicated, but it gets more balanced, right? So that's what I'm saying is you have to get your grounds with the mind, with the eyes, the ears, and the voice box. And then we can go to higher levels. Once we get to 60, we get into 70, 75, and 80, and 90, and 100, and 114, right? Talk to Tina. She'll tell you that. So the more you go higher, the more you get responsibility. Okay? Because you're coming into phenomenon. And that's what light workers don't understand. They only channel at a certain level, and that's all they know. So they're not going to get 1 million channels of intelligence of different voices, because they'll go blitz, they'll go nuts, because they can't understand the connection. And that's the separation, is they don't understand that, because that is what space is. There's no separation with space. And that's what humanity thinks it is. There is no time, there is no space, but there is. I'm sorry, because I live it every single day at 24/7. So I know there's space, I know there's time, I know there's age, and I know there's location. So, right? I felt like I'm floating through it and aware of myself, right? So everything is given to you through an equation. It's a plasma platform. You have to understand what it is. right? All right, let's see here. Okay, let's go backtrack system rotation line conditions. Chris, how's it going? All right, so here you go. All right, so it's just Alicia, how's it going? Eyes fluttering, lips quivering. Yeah, that's the first introduction line center to Vega communications. Very good, Lisa. You understand what it is because everything is communication. Rainbow wormholes. I see huge blocks walking between them. There's a low pitch in my left ear. Okay, so what is that? What is the low pitch in my left ear? How's it any different from the right? So remember, you're getting two different intelligence on right and left. You got to find your balance in your string theories. You know? So I see a huge block. Okay, so let's see. I see grids with sonar waves moving wrapped around them. Pressure on the left ear connecting to eye. Isn't that amazing how you come into the structures of visuals through your ears? Now you understand why you get ringing ears and why humanity doesn't understand the position. But once you go to a higher level system, everything starts making sense. Comes into frame by frame to its image. So square nested with one another. Okay. Right ear is receiving the sonar rings to an eardrum. That's a cloud which transmits info to brain through the thought. Very good, Samantha. Excellent. So you got the information line center, communications. So now you have to understand the sonar line center to the UFO. Which XT are you dealing with? Which ground line center are you dealing with? Which dimension are you dealing with? Which intelligence are you dealing with? Which navigation signals are you dealing with? Which shapes and anomalies are you dealing with? Which coloration of lights are you dealing with? And which dimensional time are you dealing with through its galaxy line conditions of its universal system line condition of this planet? All right? One step at a time. The energy is balancing. My system's coming in one ear and out the other. That's going to help you out, Amber. Understand how to balance everything through the quiz line interference. Yeah, that's what you want. It has to do with breathing through your nose. Breathing through your nose is very important. Yes, I see interference lines that are tracking vibration in my left ear. Very good. So now you're going to understand what sonar is and why it's given to you. I'm observing. Good. Sideways, bowls, arcs facing out on each the head, sonar waves coming out, going in. So there you go. In, out, in, out. So it's that's what it's doing every day. So if there's a UFO that comes in, so it's trying to get in communication with you, right? And if you understand the sonar, connecting to line center rotation position. Samantha, are you here in location lines interference position? Do you understand your shapes and all my smooth graph line conditions? Confirmed. See, that's how it works. So, and that's being aware. And the UFO will take off, go back to the sun because the sun is a portal, right? That's where all the UFOs come out of. The central line center is everything through shape position to your perception. My sun is different from your sun. That's what makes it unique, right? Because I don't live your reality. You live your own reality, right? But it's the same information, guys. It's just at different perception, different levels, different coloration of lights. So we're all getting the same information, just at different levels. So, and that's the true standing where I have to get you guys into alliance of balance. I can't have somebody at 25 and you guys are over here at 60. It doesn't make any sense. You can't communicate. You're at a high level of Vega, and this one isn't at a high level. So there's no communication there. No communication. It's got to be. That's how you communicate the line system. This is the grounds I'm talking about. Communications to yourself and each other. Not the grounds. The mind ground information of you through the voice box location to telepathy. Getting the telepathy of grounds of you through the mind. That's what everybody's got to get through communications. Line signal rotation, line centers in rotation position, line conditions, UFOs in line center rotation. Excellent. I see the formation line center coming in through location. See? That's how it works. So they're always communicating, right? So you can imagine where my mind is with all UFO line centers. And I can't ignore these things because I know who I am. And once you know who you are, they have so much respect for you. They protect you in all ways and forms. You help them, they help you. Now I'm getting high energy lights right now, right? And they're saying all you got to do is just focus and listen to your own voice. Then you realize once you're connected to your own voice and you have your grounds, you hear other sounds that come in. And when those sounds come in, they go come in. So you're changing the frequency line center to your reception line system, and it comes into sonar interference to a voice box to a planet line center. So you're getting information from other planets. And this is where it becomes really powerful because the mind is going to higher levels, altered states. So the UFO directions like coming in, right? High level system, yeah, it's 18,000 rotation. This and the planet line connections. This is an XR line center. Are you connecting to highlights and rotation positions, Jill? Confirmed. See, that's a true understanding. Okay, why it's so important to understand why you get ringing in your ears, and that's why people can't put these things together. They don't realize it's interference from space. You understand? Or why you get headaches and migraines is because you don't understand the crown chakra. The sun is trying to connect with you through identification line system. Why you're off balance, why you get sick, why you vomit. It's because you don't have the grounds with the crystal activation of you. Okay? So there's a lot of things that need to be worked on. So I feel like I'm floating through it. Yep. More pressure in left ear. Symbols sparkle in both vortexes come in my center line and merge in my body. Right. So Chris is getting symbols and sparkles of both vortexes coming into one line system to certain location, merging into one body line connection. That's excellent. I'm learning S9 location, second platform control. New connection made with 3663 sun and moon. Oh, that's great, Alan. Excellent. So let's go into that line connection. This is what Alan's coming into rotation. Traditional line system rotations, guys. All right, so you get a higher level system. So this is very powerful stuff because now you're connected to higher levels of planets, and that's what it wants you guys to do. You have to learn how to use your 60 chakras and go to 60 different levels of planets. What do you think the 60 chakras are? They're teleportation to communication. So once you go to higher levels of the altered state of the mind knows exactly going on through its connection, how it has to high-rise all levels of its telepathy connections. All right. So we go into 36. All right. So high levels of rotation line connections. Okay, let's go into that line center rotation of the sun. Okay, we got 36. Okay, equals box / connections of 63. Okay. 36 equals box / 63. All right. So it's all about understanding how to put this in order. 36 equals box / 63. Okay. This is not a number. Okay. This is a location. This is a code. So you have to truly understand how to use this. And the codes, remember I was saying through connections, THE, high business line centers, comes into triangle, comes into high level rotation connections, comes into weather interference, and it comes into dimensional locking connections of point line center rotations. So this is this. This is this. So what is this? This is this. So everything comes into this, into weather. Okay? Very powerful, guys. And then it comes into your pyramids, and then you come into hieroglyphics. So you understand how everything is put in your positions. So every pyramid that you have through activation line center, the ferrules and meridians, and its connection to its status is quoting to all of the system rotations, to your dreams, to its graph line center rotations. So all pyramids that are given to you, okay, are visions, programs sent for you in locations. So it's getting a little bit more understanding what's going on through that calculations, right? Pyramid, right? So this is the actual pyramid. You start connecting and actually see what everything is in dimensional time lock system and how everything is calculated and modified and how things come out in space line system. This is space and this is what you see. Okay, it's not this. Nothing is structured in space like this. Nothing is structured in space like this. It's this. So you have to truly understand how to use that, right? The same thing with vortex. It's not this, it's this. This is higher levels of the altered states of the mind. Remember, you're coming into your mothership, into the circuit board, the circuit line, the motherboard, the mothership, the motherboard. This is how we have to connect all line center rotation. Okay. So graph line center rotations, the ear line interference comes into this, not this. Okay. Because this is a higher vibration. That's all this is. Just everything in high vibration comes into balance line system. That the mind has extended connections, high level systems, not this. Right? So what is this? Location. Understand? So it's all done through codes. And that's what your body is. It's nothing but a digital code. So you have to structure these connections first, understand your hologram, understand the matrix of you, two-line system, right? So everything you see through quarter line interference comes into program line connections like this in trap line system. This is what you see through calculations. When you go to higher level systems, you come out of this, right? You go into higher position line centers, in the graph line centers, into laser dark zone locations, into this, right? You go into higher level system rotation to its connection, right? So it's all about understanding how to use point line centers to locations of box line rotation line connections in position, and how to line signal rotations to high level of calculation and modifications just through one graphing of one box line center. Not all three, they're all connected. They're all connected. When they're all connected, they're laced. They're together. The platforms are together, but it's going through one point line center to a box line center into 1, 2, 3, 4 of 4 different intelligent line positions. This all goes into your ear of track system. So you have to understand what it is. All right, calculate modified. So any questions or comments on that? Mary has gone. Wheeling has gone. Grand Rising, yeah. Traveling through wormhole, I see fire and water balancing one another. That's what you want, Cleopatra, getting balance of communications, all your elements. The nesting square I saw is weather. Very good, Jill. See, Jill is coming out of the equation line center of numbers. So numbers are what? What are numbers? Locations. Weather connection to location, guys. And then you get into the pyramids. Once we get into the pyramids, you get a better understanding, and that will put you in a high-level system of 70 chakra communications. Once we go into that connection, then we can go into laser, and they get you in the cosmic flame, cosmic flyer, get into high-level systems of the serpent flame, serpent fire, and also the elixir, and how to use it all in one sequence to one line center. So getting calculation modifications, I'll give you guys a pyramid of your own line center rotations. You charge it through its position line connections, and you high level its rotation back in its communication to its line connection, to its hieroglyphics of its story frame line system. So you have to understand where the pyramid came from to its location. All right. Understanding, yeah. Oh, that's important that you get a grasp. Yeah. So now you understand, right? Why it's so important to understand these things. And that's why, we start off with this, but this is this. But how does this become this? Well, this is all done through connections of weather to location. So it's the same thing when you have your phone. You need a location, right? You're tracking your locations to your phone. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, now I got my phone. It was lost, right? Always has an emergency connection to you if you lose your phone, right? That's why you have to put the location on. Because if you don't, you can't find your phone. But thing is too, there's a metric of a servicing line center that's in position. Even if your phone is off, you can still find your phone. High level system to acceleration to high connections to high level connections to technology line interference. So you have to understand what light is through connections and how to travel through it, right? So don't look at this. Look at what it is through AI, right? And this is the confusion. Once you get out of the confusion, you'll see the weather, its story frame, and its location. All right. So, yeah. Grand Rising, yeah. Feel free to go to my TikTok and follow the trend. Save me. Very, very powerful. It's spreading, spreading, spreading. So let's backtrack, see if I missed anything. Locations. Tomorrow we get into water. How to contain the system of water. You need water. Why do we need water? So we can get the flow of the stream of the fish, right? So you get the grounds with the line center rotations of yin and yang into the male and the female aspect of you, their letters, numbers, and shapes. And then we get to the higher level system rotation to its calculation. That's something to look forward to. You have to understand how to use the water and keep it in balanced rotation to all levels of the counter measure line system rotation connections of you. All right. So that was a lot of fun, eh? I enjoyed it. You have any questions or comments? I don't want to give you guys too much because it's a lot of work, right? So don't look at 1 + 1 = 2. Look at 1 + 1 = 3. But how did it get 1 + 1 = 3? It's all done through weather. It's all done through shapes, letters, and numbers to its location. And that's why we created the pyramids and the hieroglyphics. To understand the story frame. So each pyramid is what? You through intelligence. You just have to understand what it is when it comes to its ancestry and history, to the pharaohs and the meridians, and how everything came into its equation to its plasma interference. So you are welcome, Amber. Any questions or comments, let me know. Adios.